All right, we started. Hey, what's up, guys? If you don't know who I am, I'm Two Tilted Poker, a 22-year-old poker professional, and we are going to be reacting to some Zach D films today. So let's get into it.
To get the ship inside the bottle, fold the masts flat so they fit inside. Once in position, gently tug thin strings attached to each mast and sail. The masts slowly rise upright, and the sails line up, settling in place. With thin sticks and tweezers, you
Wow.
attach the rigging and shift the sails until it's perfect. Then you carefully trim the strings, sealing the bottle shut. To get the ship inside the bottle, fold the
Extremely intricate. I don't really think you see much of these anymore. You don't really see much of the
masts
ships in a
flat
bottle.
so they fit inside.
I feel like
Once
it's like
in
a lost
position,
art,
gently
you know?
tug thin strings attached to each mast and sail.
I don't really see
The
that
masts
anymore.
slowly rise up right, and the sails line up, settling in place. With thin sticks and tweezers, if you pour high-proof alcohol into an empty gas tank, it gets pulled through a pump and sprayed into the engine where spark plugs ignite it. And it might burn just enough to drive. But alcohol doesn't burn like gasoline. It doesn't get as hot, meaning it produces less energy. This would cause the engine to stall and jerk, and you would only make it a mile or so before it sputters out. If you pour high-proof alcohol into an empty gas tank,
Yeah, you can't. I mean, if you pour high proof alcohol in a gas tank, it's like there's just too many additives in a bottle of alcohol. So it's just like you might not even make it a mile. He might be wrong there. You might not actually even make a mile. There's just too many additives, like like sugar from the fermentation process. Yeah, it's just there's too much sugar in it. Sugar, um, too many impurities. It needs to be um, very raw, refined
it gets
gasoline,
pulled through a
right?
pump and sprayed into the engine where spark plugs ignite it. And it might burn just enough to drive. But alcohol doesn't burn like gasoline. It doesn't get as hot, meaning it produces less energy. This would cause the engine to stall.
Yeah, you're not even making it a mile. You're not even making it a mile. How do I just
With
scroll through
scissors, they
shorts?
cut away the
It's like this.
He suddenly choked on a piece of steak, causing him to
Oh,
collapse. His roommate Mike called 911, and he was
oh,
rushed to the hospital, still unconscious. But at the hospital, the doctors accidentally switched the roommates'
no!
identities because they sort of looked alike. This meant that they thought the man who choked was actually his roommate Mike, so they used the wrong name and medical records by mistake. Doctors put him on life support and called the family listed on Mike's records. And Mike's sister was told her brother was brain dead. Heartbroken, she agreed to let the doctors turn off the machines. But a few days
What? I mean, how could you get something like, if you're a doctor, like, it's your job. How could you get something so simple like this wrong? It's infuriating, honestly. Like, what are we doing here, docs?
later, Mike walked into her house totally fine, and they realized she had unknowingly decided to end someone else's life, thinking it was her
Oh
brother
God.
Mike. He suddenly
Yeah,
If the cruise ship
that's a
died
case right
and you
there.
used a really long oar to start paddling from the balcony, how
I mean, that's just ridiculous. That's like, are we watching frickin' One Piece here? Like, it's not even possible. Like, obviously, it's not even possible. I'm not even gonna watch
they
that. That's
removed his
enraging me.
throat cancer and carefully took a piece of his chest skin to patch the hole in his throat. But the chest skin grew hair inside his throat. Years later, the hair ended up dangling deep in his windpipe. And as
Oh
he breathed
God.
in, it felt like he was choking. Doctors had to burn the hair off just so he could breathe normally again. They removed
Oh, that's kind of gruesome. Wow.
After you're cremated, your ashes are mixed with metal salts to make vibrant colors before they're carefully sealed inside firework shells. Your family members can even choose the colors and the order of the fireworks.
I mean, like, people actually buy this? Are you serious? Like, I mean, if I died, I don't think I'd want to be a firework. I don't think I want to be a firework show. I mean, it's very symbolic, you know, like you live your life like a firework, you know. You're born and then really quick your life is like a flash, like a firework, and then you return to ash, right? I see the symbolism there, but like I actually would not want to be a firework. It's kind of extra, you know. But whatever, to each their own.
Show. When the fireworks are launched, they shoot hundreds of feet up into the sky. So when you die, your loved ones can watch you go out with a bang. After you're cremated, your ashes are mixed with. The car was swept into the floodwaters, with the mother and son trapped inside. And as they tried to escape, they were pulled.
I mean, first of all, if you're like, why are you driving in a flood? Like, how do you get in this situation? Like, just stay inside. If that's like, if you have a phone, right? If you have a phone, just look at the weather app, right? Everyone has a weather app. Just stay inside. Like, what are we doing? Stay inside when there's a freaking flood watch. Like, why are you even getting in these situations? I mean, it's so stupid. Like, why are you putting yourself in a bad situation? Just, I don't understand. And if it applies to a lot of things, like just stay inside. If you know you're gonna go outside and be in a bad scenario, don't go outside. Period.
Away by the current, the woman was able to push her son up on the bank, but was swept away before she could get out. She screamed for help, and a homeless man's dog heard her cries. It barked frantically, and this alerted the man, who quickly ran to help. He managed to grab a hold of her and pull her from the creek. They both survived and made a full recovery, all thanks to a homeless man and his dog. The car was swept into the floodwater.
Very wholesome. Dog saved her.
If you pull a string tight between two empty cans and speak into one, your voice makes sound
this
waves.
Is a good one. Yeah, it's just the sound waves, they travel through the string, right? Travel right through the string, and then you hear it on the other side. Been doing it since kids. Fun. Little telephone trick.
If you pull a string tight between two empty, it locked its talons into the back of the goat. Then it dragged the animal toward the cliff's edge. The goat kicked and twisted, trying to escape as they both.
I don't like that one.
If you pull a string tight.
Why does it do that again? It's Oh, that's why. Okay, it travels through the string because of the closeness of the particles, right? It's like a liquid, they're kind of spread out, and gas is like very very spread out and fast, right? And then the molecules of a solid, which is the string, is solid. You can see that, and they're close together, so sound is just going to penetrate that, and it's going to be a louder sound. That's through anything. Like if you put your ear on a desk and you bang, you're going to hear that easier.
It locked its talons into the back of the goat. Then it dragged the animal toward the cliff's edge. The goat kicked and twisted, trying to escape as they both dropped down the mountainside. But as they launched over the cliff, the eagle let go and flew away, and the goat slammed into the rocks below. The eagle swooped down, eating what was left at the bottom. It locked its talons into the back of the goat. Then it dragged the animal toward the cliff's edge. The goat kicked and twisted. He rode his motorcycle without a helmet, and the police gave him a fine. But he was an electrician with access to the power grid. So he checked the records and found the police station hadn't paid its bill in 3 years. Now this bill was incredibly expensive, so he shut off their electricity. For 5 hours, the police station went dark, all because
I mean, you're kind of a clown. Like, why would you do that? Like, You can't just shut off the police station. Like they have things to do. You probably should approach them. I don't know if he doesn't really mention that in this video, but hopefully he would approach them first before just shutting it down. Let's see if it elaborates.
They gave a fine to the wrong guy. He rode his...
Like, what, this
If
doesn't
we
even sound
dumped
real.
all of our trash into a volcano instead of a landfill, you might think
That's just a terrible idea. That's like literally such a terrible idea on so many levels. Like the amount of gas that would be released, um, from that is it can't be good. Like it just can't be good, and potentially dangerous for the person that would be releasing it. Not even potentially, it would without a doubt be dangerous for the person that would be dumping the trash. Um, it could just create a chemical reaction depending on what's in the trash. Like you don't know what's in a trash bag. You're not gonna look. It's just a stupid idea.
it would burn up and disappear. But most volcanoes aren't just open pits of lava. The magma is deep underground, normally under a hardened crust. And even if it was open, throwing in thousands of pounds of trash could disturb the lava. This could trigger a violent explosion that blasts molten rock and ash into the air. This would release huge plumes of toxic gas that could spread for miles.
Yeah, that gas would
Who's faster?
fucking kill
QuickBooks
people
edition.
as well.
You ready?
Yes.
The assistant was locked inside the box, and the magician reached for his saw to cut her in half. But suddenly, a man jumped up from his seat and ran toward the stage. He grabbed a nearby sword and stabbed the magician in the neck, thinking he was saving the woman's life. You see, they were in a small town where no one had seen the magic trick before. Luckily, the magician did survive, and later explained that the woman was never in danger. The assistant was locked in. When the Ninja Turtle talks, tiny motors inside the head move his eyes, and these are controlled by an off-screen puppeteer using precise switches and levers to change the turtle's expression. At the same time, an infrared sensor tracks his mouth movements as he speaks, and a radio signal sends the information back to the head, moving the turtle's mouth in exactly the same way. The whole thing is powered by a battery pack, and the actor practices dozens of times with the puppeteer, making sure it all
they couldn't have made like a better puppet for the movie. Like that's so inefficient. I feel like there's got to be a better way there. I guess we weren't advanced at this time in the 90s, right? I think I remember watching that movie, like just looked really bad. Even back then when I was young, it was just not a great movie. They spent all this time and effort on this puppet, and it's just insanely inefficient. They should have just waited until technology was correct. That's the only input I could really give there.
Lines up perfect. While riding on a hoverboard, the dentist yanked out her tooth. He then sent a video of it to his friends. Now, the patient was unconscious when this happened, and she had no idea she was being filmed.
I mean, you're a clown. If you're a dentist and you're doing this shit, you have a frickin' doctorate degree in dentistry, and you're filming yourself on a hoverboard, pulling out teeth. Like, what are we doing? How many clowns am I gonna watch in this video? It's insane.
Or that the dentist was riding a hoverboard. But when they
obviously, if you're gonna do it, you can't record it. Like, what are we doing?
Investigated, they found he was also embezzling millions of dollars, so the dentist was sentenced to 12 years in prison. While riding on a hoverboard,
he's wild.
You would press the letter A on the keyboard, but the machine would light up a totally different letter. That's because inside were spinning wheels called rotors. Each rotor scrambled the signal in a different way, and every time you pressed a key, the rotors turned, changing the code again. By the time the message was done, the letter swaps seemed completely random. But the machine could never turn a letter into itself, so an A could never become an A. Codebreakers used this flaw to figure out common words used in the messages. Then they built giant machines to test thousands of possible solutions at a time.
This is how the first modern computer was made. The Enigma code breaker machines. That's how they started making the first desktop computer. It essentially was just millions of combinations that they were running through to solve a problem. I believe they were trying to decode the what was it? It was the message they sent to Germany, Nazi Germany sent to Mexico, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong.
And this allowed them to crack the code and read Germany's secrets, helping them win the war. You would press the letter A on the keyboard.
Get the all-new iPhone.
The goose pushed out an egg made completely of solid gold. And when the farmer checked the next day, he found
Alright guys, we're gonna stop the video for today. That's all we got. And I'll see you guys in the next one.